I'm Wallace and I am one of the pattern makers here at Seamwork. Today I will be making the K lounge set into an athletic set for roller skating. During the pandemic, I decided that I needed to be able to find a new activity that I could do outside. I used to be a runner and I would run with some local run groups, but unfortunately I found that I just really was not enjoying running with a mask on outside. So I decided that I wanted to try to find a new physical activity that was fun and was also not too strenuous while I was wearing a mask. The K set is originally meant more for loungewear rather than activewear, but I'm going to show you a few hacks today that I made to the pattern in order to make it a little more activity friendly. To make my K set, I used this athletic knit. I just used a plain black color, but this same knit comes in several different colors. All the links to my materials will be below in the description box. So I really like this fabric, this particular athletic fabric, because it is 265 GSM, which is a pretty hefty weight. I personally prefer to use at least 240 GSM for the weight of my athletic fabrics that I'm going to be making into any kind of compression bottoms. So this fabric is great for like leggings or compression shorts because it is very opaque. And one of my tips that I have for you is if you are looking at an athletic knit in person, I like to put my hand underneath the fabric and stretch it out as far as it'll go and make sure that I cannot see my hand through the fabric, so that way I know that I will have absolutely no wardrobe malfunctions while I'm wearing something made of this. Then for the elastic, I used this really fun leopard print. This elastic is about 1.5 inches wide, 1 3/8, somewhere around there. And it is a very good quality elastic. It's pretty sturdy, and it is from an Etsy store called Beyond Trim. Based on my muslin, I decided to add 1.5 inches to the total rise on the front and back, just so I could make the shorts a little higher waisted. I took my straps in 1/2 inch towards center front, otherwise known as a narrow shoulder adjustment. I reduced my shoulder slope by 1/4 inch. My shoulders are pretty square, so this is a typical adjustment for me. I decided to shorten the top 1 inch just because I knew that my elastic was really wide. I was using for the band. For my K set, I made an extra small top and graded between the extra small and small sizes at the hips and waist for the shorts. I made my muslin out of cotton lycra knit scraps that I had in my stash. Keep in mind, K is intended to be more of a casual lounge crop top more than a supportive bra like I've made it into. If you want more support, I recommend sewing 1/4 inch elastic into the armhole and neckline seams. Knit or clear elastic will work, but personally I prefer to use knit elastic. I did not stretch the elastic at all while sewing it into the seam, but if you need extra support in a sports bra, I recommend stretching slightly while you're sewing it into your seam. I personally prefer to put cups inside of all of my sports bras. I just use some simple little foam inserts. These are triangular shaped. They come in all different kinds of shapes. I believe I ordered these on Amazon in a pretty large pack for fairly inexpensive. And also the nice thing about this foam is that you can cut it down to a smaller size if you buy ones that are too big and just serge or zigzag around the edges in order to make them the right size. To add cups to your K, try the top on before attaching any elastic to the bottom or hemming. Pin your cups in place and sew to the lining with a zigzag stitch. In other words, your cups will be in between your shell fabric and your lining fabric, so they will not be touching your body. For circular cups, I recommend sewing all the way around, but for triangular cups, like the one that I used, just sew each of the 3 points down. Your fabric choices are also going to make a big difference on how supportive a sports bra can be. I just used this athletic knit for the shell and the lining of mine, but if you're bustier or you just need more support or want more support, I really recommend also getting some power mesh and just basting it to your lining and treating that all as one layer. What I learned from sewing K is that even if you take the time to add in some more hacks and use some extra materials, that really this set probably works best for light to medium activities such as yoga or roller skating, just nothing high impact like running. I just personally don't think that Kay is gonna provide you enough support since it really wasn't intended for that when it was drafted. The other thing that I learned is that, as I mentioned earlier, this elastic is wide and it's very strong. And I didn't really take this into consideration when I was sewing it on to the shorts, or the top really, but the shorts, it turns out that the elastic was super, almost like a little too restricting for me. So what I ended up doing was letting the waistband elastic, I wrapped it around a chair at home and left it that way for 12 hours, just so that that way the elastic would start to get stretched out. And it feels a lot more comfortable now, but admittedly, if I could go back and redo all of this, I definitely would have given myself a little bit more ease in the circumference of the elastic. I actually just cut the elastic the exact same size as the waist on the shorts. So like I said, going back, I probably would have just added more ease to the waist on the pattern as well as the elastic so that it could relax a little bit better. It's definitely got a lot less give than like a brief elastic would. So I might also consider using a brief elastic or something like that next time. Thanks for following along with my project diary. I hope this inspires you to maybe try some athletic wear if you never have before, or to think about ways that you can hack patterns that you already own to be more appropriate for athletic wear. If you have any questions, just leave them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. Bye!